My name is Rachel, and for almost 9 years, I believed that being a good wife meant being flexible. If my husband wanted something, I adjusted. If he changed our plans, I smiled. If he forgot to ask my opinion, I convinced myself it wasn't important. At first, those moments seemed small. He bought a new truck without mentioning it to me. It was a great deal, he said. I didn't want to miss it. I nodded because I wanted to be supportive. A few months later, he accepted a promotion in another city before we had even talked about moving. I knew you'd understand, he said. So I did. Or at least I pretended to. Every decision came wrapped in the same sentence. I already handled it. Somehow, we slowly became me. The hardest part wasn't that he made decisions. It was that he never noticed I had disappeared from them. Friends thought we had the perfect marriage. We rarely argued. We posted smiling pictures. We hosted backyard barbecues. From the outside, everything looked peaceful. Inside, I felt like a guest in my own life. One Saturday morning, I walked into the kitchen and found brochures spread across the table. Vacation brochures, beach resorts, flight schedules, hotel packages. I smiled. Planning something fun? David looked up. I already booked it. I laughed softly. You booked our anniversary trip? Yeah, when are we going? He named the dates. My smile disappeared. David, those are the same days as my sister's graduation. He shrugged. I figured she'd understand. I stared at him. My family already bought my plane ticket months ago. I forgot. That word landed heavier than he realized, not because of the trip. Because it wasn't the first time. He forgot my plans, my opinions, my dreams, my voice. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying the last few years. The house refinance, the investments, the vacations, the furniture, even adopting our dog. Every major decision had started with the same sentence. I already did it. Somewhere along the way, I had stopped expecting to be asked. That realization hurt more than anything. The next morning, I made coffee and sat quietly on the porch. For the first time, I asked myself one simple question. If my opinion never mattered, why was I pretending this was a partnership? The answer scared me. Because I had confused peace with silence. A week later, David came home excited. I've got amazing news. I looked up from my laptop. They're opening another office in North Carolina. Congratulations, they want me to lead it. That's wonderful. He grinned. We're moving in September. Again, I looked at him carefully. When did we decide that? He blinked. What do you mean? You said we're moving. Yeah, when did you ask me? He frowned. I figured you'd be happy. I have a career here. You can find another job. My parents live 20 minutes away. We'll visit. My volunteer work? You'll make new friends. Every answer came so quickly, as if my entire life could simply be replaced. I felt strangely calm, not angry, just awake. I realized something in that moment. He wasn't trying to hurt me. He truly believed that making decisions for both of us was normal, because I had allowed it for years. I took a slow breath. Then I smiled. David, this time, I'm going to make one decision without you. The smile faded. What does that mean? I stood up, picked up my coffee mug, and walked toward my office. I'll let you know tomorrow. That was the first night in years that he looked genuinely nervous. He kept asking questions. I answered none of them. For once, silence was louder than any argument. And the next morning, I walked into a lawyer's office with one simple question that would change everything. The lawyer greeted me with kindness. She didn't ask if I wanted a divorce. She asked something much more important. What do you want? No one had asked me that in years. I sat quietly for a moment before answering. I want to matter. She smiled gently. That's a good place to start. We talked for nearly 2 hours. She explained my legal rights, our finances, and what my options would be if I stayed or if I left. When I walked out of her office, I wasn't carrying divorce papers. I was carrying clarity. That evening, David was waiting at the kitchen table. I've been worried all day. I know. Where were you? I met with a lawyer. His face turned pale. You're leaving me? I haven't decided. He stared at me. I don't understand. I know. And that's the problem. For the first time in our marriage, I didn't rush to make him feel comfortable. Instead, I calmly told him how I had been feeling for years. Not with anger, not with blame, just the truth. I've spent almost a decade living inside decisions I never helped make. He tried to interrupt. I gently raised my hand. No, please let me finish. He nodded. I stopped recognizing my own life because every important choice belonged to someone else. The room became very quiet. Finally, he whispered, I never realized. I believe you. You should have told me. I did, many times. He lowered his head. I just didn't hear you. That sentence stayed with me. Because it was honest. Over the next few weeks, nothing changed overnight. Trust never does. David canceled the transfer to North Carolina, not because I demanded it, because he finally understood what it represented. He asked me before making every decision, even small ones, what do you think? How do you feel? What would you like? At first, those questions felt unfamiliar. Then they felt healing. One evening, he handed me 2 brochures, one for a beach vacation, one for a mountain cabin. I haven't booked anything, he said with a small smile. I wanted us to choose together. I laughed. Not because of the vacation, because it was the first time I truly felt like a wife instead of a passenger. People often think respect begins with the other person. Sometimes it begins with ourselves. The day I stopped accepting a silent role, I gave my husband the opportunity to become a better partner. And I gave myself permission to stop disappearing. Whether a marriage survives or not, one truth always remains. You deserve a voice in your own life. Never mistake being easy to live with for being invisible. Real love doesn't make every decision for you. Real love makes room for you. If this story touched you, please comment and subscribe. I have one question for you. Have you ever stayed silent just to keep the peace? Let me know your answer below.